What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome with Nick and Michael. What's up, man?
I got my Milo's tea today.
If you haven't had it, it's so good. They make it with, instead of like cane sugar or simple syrup, they make it with brown sugar.
Do they?
Yeah. Well, they used to. I don't know if they
It says pure cane sugar.
Okay, well, they've changed it.
It's still very good.
Hey, there's been many things today that's made a liar out of me. So
that's for another story. I will say my favorite tea is actually Red Diamond, but this is what they had.
I did get one right. We did it. We have done several webinars now at like 10 or 11 in the morning. So I got the one thing right. The rest of it.
I was wrong on that. You were right. We did a webinar today. It was about running Google Ads for the summer. And you were right about the timing because I was like, I think it's only been twice. Yeah, no, it's been 3 times. And here we are, 3. But no, so like today's kind of fun because you are, well, some context.
Yes.
One is the day before Good Friday. We're off as a company tomorrow.
Yes.
Which is cool.
I just now remembered that.
Yeah, I put it in our Slack channel earlier because I was like, I think everybody's going to forget about this because it's just sneaking up on us.
It is.
And then, so Easter this weekend, which is awesome. Excited for that. But then, what brings into this particular episode is that you are less than 2 weeks away from your final check ride.
From my instrument check ride.
Yeah, your instrument check ride, which for the pilots out there, you know what that means. For the non-pilots out there like myself, it means that you spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of test taking to get there. And now you can be certified, hopefully, in 2 weeks.
That for you would be like getting your doctorate.
Yeah.
You know, getting those MD letters.
That
kind of thing.
you know, you've gotten so far, and now you get to check off that one more box. So, and you've already, and I think they were looking at your stuff. They're like, you're going to pass with flying colors, man. Like, this will be easy for you.
I swear if I hear that one more time with a new instructor.
Yeah. That's been your other challenge. You keep losing instructors because they get busy.
Well, this is the part of the training in your aviation career where the pilots are much further along to be an instrument instructor. And so they're all headed to the airline.
Yeah, their career.
They are. That's their goal, and that's fine. So here's what's going to happen. I'm gonna help you out right here at the beginning of the episode. I'm going to be talking about aviation, and I'm going to attach it to urgent care clinics. I promise. But I'm going to tell you that so you can turn this off if you want to now, if you don't want to hear any more about aviation stories. Some people are into sports, like they have sports analogies. I have aviation analogies. That's just what I have.
Well, now I will say this: we may be in a very familiar group because it tends to be doctors to become pilots, and just don't become the doctor pilot that crashes your plane.
I mean, we have a client of ours that just bought a Vision jet.
Yeah,
that's a bad plane, man.
Yeah, won't say names, but yes, it is a cool plane. We saw a picture of it this morning. It was super cool.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he'll let me go take a ride. I know I can't fly it, but I know I can.
Who cares, right? Like just hop in it.
So let's start with story time with Nick and Michael. Here we go.
Insert sparkly music.
So I promise I'm going somewhere with all of this, but let me start off. Like there's 2 different types of flying that you do in general aviation. You have what's called VFR, and the other is IFR. Mm-hmm. You have visual flight rules, and you have instrument flight rules.
And you've been VFR for what, 3 years?
The whole time.
Right.
The whole time. And soon we'll have an instrument rating. But I'm learning some things along the way, right? And here's what I mean by that. What's cool about being a VFR pilot is, I mean, some of y'all will disagree if you're pilots out there, but it's the truth of it. Like if I want to, I don't have to do a whole lot other than look up at the sky and maybe check the weather a little bit to make sure that there's no storms in the area. Mm-hmm. But if there's no clouds in the sky and there's no storms in the area, like I could go hop in my plane and there's not much planning that goes along with that. I can just go hop in the plane and I can go fly. Yeah. And I can really enjoy that. I can.
It's like sightseeing.
Fun. It's exhilarating. It's sightseeing. You can impress your friends. Like you can bring them into the plane. They can go with you. If you're really good, you don't kill them. You know, that kind of thing.
I have ridden many hours with you at this point.
Exactly. So the cool part about that is it's a lower barrier of entry. It's still rare, right? Less than 1% of the population in the United States holds a pilot certificate. So it's still rare. By the way, that's about the same percentage of people that own businesses. Throwing that out there.
I do agree that it feels like a lot of pilots are also business owners.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because of the nature of the business, like the industry, where if you want to get in deep, you can't let your normal hourly job pay for it. Like there's a lot of cost.
Well,
there.
you know what it takes to make a plane fly?
What?
Money.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's what it
I
takes.
mean, because I've learned over the years now, like having a plane sit in a hangar, it's very expensive.
Yes.
And if you just want to take it up once a year, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg because it might kill you if you don't.
That's right. No, you got to keep it current and all that kind of stuff. Like you really have to love it.
Yeah, and you can't like halfway in, halfway out with it because then you're becoming a danger.
That's right. But what's wild about that is like you don't have to do a lot of planning. You can do it. You have to earn it. You still have to earn it to get there. You still have to put in the work to get your pilot's license certificate. But you don't have to do tons and tons of planning to get into a plane and go.
I can get that and go buy a plane, right? I don't need
to buy a plane, you don't have to do anything but just write checks. Lots of them.
for a long time.
For a long time. Same thing with a boat, right?
Best friends, the best boat's your friend's boat.
That's so true. Same with planes, right? But let me take a minute and talk about the difference in that and instrument. So an instrument, like you can't see.
Right.
You can't see.
You gotta wear the
you have to plan. Mm-hmm. It takes some intentionality. Here's the real important thing is I don't have to be an instrument pilot to fly. And so you have to push through laziness. You have to push through indifference.
Yeah.
You have to push through, well, if I don't do this, I still have my pilot's license. I can still fly. But you have to plan and you have to think through problems and you have to learn the plane in a different way. Mm-hmm. You have to rely on systems. You have to rely on a different set of checklists. There's a million other things that you have to learn to become an instrument pilot. But here's what it does, is it opens up the world to you. Mm-hmm. It opens up the world to you. How many trips have we not been able to go on because of the weather?
If it's anything to do with South Florida, it's about a 20% chance we'll actually get to go.
Correct. Literally.
Like, because the weather is so unpredictable. And then once you're outside of VFR, you're stuck. Like you can't go anywhere.
Well, in 4 years of being with the mastermind that we're in, mm-hmm. going 3 times a year, we've only flown 3 times. I think you once or twice.
Me twice, because one of them we learned that your plane didn't have good weather seals.
That's true. It rained inside the plane.
And it was like squish, squish, squish.
We carried an extra 20 pounds of water with
us.
We really
did.
But that's what it does. And here's the cool part is once you break through those cloud barriers and you get above the clouds, you get the best view in the world.
It is.
It opens up the world to you.
It's so pretty.
So where am I going with this? Having vision helps. Having a plan with vision will actually get you above the clouds and you can really soar. Same thing in your clinic. You can go open a clinic and to a degree you can be successful. But until you get a vision and a plan for that, you're going to be a single location making some money.
Yeah. I mean, it's real because I think, in this industry it was infancy, right? Like it was 30, 40 years ago is when it started, when this industry started, the urgent care space. And back then it was like, just put up a location, it'll make it happen and you'll be all right. And now competition is skyrocket. I think at the end of the day, I think COVID exposed urgent cares in the sense of, that's a business model that everybody can get on board with. Mm-hmm. And of course, in the way our state regulations are, you don't have to be a doctor half the time to open one.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, and you talk about, having that strategy so you can see past the clouds, right? It's also being persistent with it where you're not settling. Because I think like you were saying, VFR, you can settle and
I can still fly.
You can go fly, have fun, fly a couple of times a year.
And it is fun.
And take up some friends. But you're limited, right? Like that the fun part is limited. And then all of a sudden, when you want to go further, you're like, I don't want to do all that. Yeah, I don't want to plan for that. Mm-hmm. And then you just put it away. And then I think like most pilots, they eventually hang up their hat and say, I'm done.
They do. Most VFRs do. Yeah, the VFR pilot does not stick around very long.
I wonder what the stat of that is. That would be interesting. How many
I'm sure we could
VFR versus IFR, like how many do not renew versus actual renewal with IFRs?
Well, there's not really a renewal. Once you're a pilot, you're a pilot.
Yeah.
Period.
How do you not become one?
You get a DUI.
Oh, wow.
Fail a medical. Right. So like once you're a pilot, once you have a driver's license, you have a driver's license. You just renew it. You don't renew your pilot certificate. It's just once you have it, but you have to stay current. So what does expire is your medical.
There you go.
Right. Those kinds of things. So your medical expires. And then you have to stay current. There's some things that you have to do in order to take passengers. And they're even more stringent on instrument. But let's go back to the clinic side. So here's the VFR clinic. Okay. The VFR clinic is profitable. They're probably busy. They're probably flying, right?
Yeah. Having a good time.
But they're stuck in the same airspace.
Yeah. They've been sitting at that patient per day, whatever, for the past 3, 4, 5 years.
Yep.
And probably I would say, like, we know, because we've talked to a lot of you guys, the urgent care owner is the primary doctor. And so they're very busy. And so they can't just magically go away for 2 weeks, because then the urgent care can't even function without them. And so I think that's the biggest challenge that any single location urgent care faces, because a single location urgent care is like, what, 3 to 5 staff, give or take, plus a doctor of some capacity, a nurse practitioner situation. But but the owner tends to be that same person, and it's just, you didn't build a business to be stuck in the business.
Or maybe you did. There's some VFR pilots that love it. And that's all, that's all they want to do. And that's okay. Like, I'm not even saying there's anything wrong. I'm just trying to make a comparison of what a visual clinic versus an instrument clinic, and they look very different. And they do very different things.
When I think a VFR had enough taste of an IFR, they would probably say, you know what, I'm going to reconsider all this.
Let me tell you, the minute you break through those clouds and there's a layer underneath you, and it's raining or it's nasty, ugly, whatever underneath, and it's the most beautiful day you've ever seen on top, and there's a blanket of clouds underneath you, it's really hard to explain. I wonder if I can get the video attached into this YouTube video at some point. Yeah. Just to show I got a good video of me sitting on top of the clouds.
Yeah, because I mean the reality of, like, it feels like a movie.
It is. Yeah,
because it almost feels like you're cheating. Like cheating life a little bit. It's wild.
It's wild, man. We're not meant to fly, are we? So the IFR clinic, right? Long-term planning. They got planning in place. They're used to making plans, right? They have clear goals and systems. Like, this is the best part. This is that vision piece I'm talking about. When I do a flight plan and instrument, I know where I'm going. I know how much fuel it's going to take me to get there. I know my airspeed. I know my true airspeed. I'm not going to get into all the details of that. I'll also have an alternate, right? An alternate airport to land at if something doesn't work at the airport. I have an alternate, and then I have another 45 minutes of fuel just in case for that, right? There's a lot of planning involved. There's a lot of thoughts. I filed it. So here's this. I bring that specific reason up for a specific reason, and that there are other people involved in my plan. ATC knows where I'm going, and they're going to help me get there.
Air traffic control.
I got people.
Yeah.
Right?
You got people, and they're there just to promote you along the way.
They're there to help me. Yep. And also hold me accountable.
I've heard those calls.
There's some accountability in there too.
So what are you doing?
84655. I got a number for you to write down. Exactly. I've never heard that. Thank God I never want to.
I feel like didn't you hear it though?
Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it. It wasn't for me though.
Well, was it for your plane?
No.
Oh, I thought it was when the battery had issues.
Oh, that was when air traffic control asks you to write down a number, you're in trouble with the FAA. Ugh. Yeah, you don't want that. I've got clear goals and systems in place. I've got training and team development. I have ongoing training, currency requirements for up to 6 months and 6 months after that, and what I have to do if that goes bad. Right? Like there's a plan with a plan with a plan, and I'm constantly looking at data. Automations. I'm trusting in the partnerships like ATC, my training, things like that. Like there's a huge plan that's backing the vision. It's not just a wish.
Yeah.
Right?
Not just a hope.
It's not a single location. And there's nothing wrong with a single location. I want to reiterate, there is no different, there is nothing better or worse between a VFR pilot and an IFR pilot. I'm only drawing a distinction that one is going to have an amazing time in a small space. The other one's going to have the world of opportunity open up to them beyond that. That's all I'm getting at. So, Thoughts on that so far, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I like the comparison. I'm sure there's a couple of pilots listening. They're probably enjoying some of this.
Y'all send this over to Dr. J.
Yeah, you should send us an email if you're a pilot. hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com and let us know.
We'll talk about
We'll
everything.
we'll go fly to you. Honestly, why
we'll
not?
have some fun.
But no, I get it, and I think some of this may be where I know there's a couple listeners that are single locations and they're thinking, yeah, I want to go to the next level, but I'm afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of I've always, you hear the fear of success and what it might take to get there. That's a thing.
You know what it takes to get there? Failure.
Yes.
What's the first thing I did when I took that test?
You definitely failed.
I failed it.
Yep.
I failed it.
Yep.
I was beat up for a minute, to be honest with you.
You were not happy, and but then you came back and passed it.
But it took me a while to get back on the horse a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't just a jump right back in.
Yeah, I didn't, man. I was, this is important, and I did not want to mess it up, and I failed. Smoked it the second time, though, baby. Made a B.
Smoked it in the sense of passed it with a little bit of margin.
Yeah, I passed it with margin. That's right. That's a good. Come on, man. I made an 88. I only had to make a 70, which means I did make a 70 the first time. I missed about one question. Not the point. But yeah. So failure is some people are afraid of failure, and you've heard me talk about this a lot about you have to go through failure to get to success. Here's the problem: when you're going through the failure, it still sucks.
Yes, I mean that's. Yes, because when it comes to failure, you have two choices. You either accept the failure and just fall, or you accept the failure, you learn from it, and you move forward.
Yep.
And a lot of people fall. They're just like, I've had enough of this. I'm out. We've seen those people where it's like, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not for me. I don't think people understand when they take on a business that you have to put on some armor that you were not ready for.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get beat up.
There's no doubt about it, and you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
I failed today.
Yes,
I
wasn't here for that one, but I heard about it.
No, I got some egg on my face on trying to deliver something, and I messed it up. It's a failure. I'm still like fresh off of that too, like 20 minutes ago, right? That kind of situation, and I'm still like in my head about it a little bit. Now I'm gonna overcome it. I'm gonna do what I need to do to fix it, but that's not the point. So
Probably lights a fire under you.
It does. It does. And here's what I'm going to learn from it. I don't want to go into too much detail, but like, don't deliver things until you're ready to deliver things. That's the best way to say it. So, and no, it wasn't an ads campaign, so y'all can call me.
It was actually just a service that we're experimenting with.
Yep. And I had tested it and refined it and played with it, and it's been running for months now.
Yeah.
Functioning beautifully for months now. Yeah. And then we build it and it just flopped.
Classic.
Anyway, all right, let's keep going. So I want to give you some steps here to build a bigger vision for your clinic. Okay. Yes, I'm keeping the airplane framework in here. So step number one is identify your destination. So what does success look like for you and your clinic in the next 3 to 5 years?
I always find it interesting because we've talked about this before, the 10-year vision.
I did that one time and I'm like, well, crap, COVID.
Yes. And it's interesting. So you have 10-year visions. We talk about 3 years, 5 years. I wonder what the commonality of all this is. Why do we lean into that 3 or 5 year thing? What happens in 3 to 5 years, right?
Right.
Because we're talking about the 10-year thing. And so, Nick, this company is 7 years old. So I don't know what your 10-year vision was 7 years ago, but you got 3 years to meet it if it's still a thing.
What was my 10-year vision? How many years ago?
7 years when you started.
7 years ago, to make money.
Oh, we accomplished that.
We accomplished that. And it wasn't far after that. I wanted to make sure that we hit 7 figures. We talk about helping our clinics hit 7 figures. And we hit that, 3 years in? 4 years in, maybe?
Yeah, about 3 years in.
About 3 years in, right? Yeah. So that was the next vision, and we have not hit the 10-year milestone, which is multi-7, right?
Yes.
But for me, just so that y'all don't think that I'm just some money grubber, we want to help 100 urgent cares, not locations, individual urgent cares.
Brands.
Yep.
100 brands of urgent cares.
Triple their patient volume through our services. That's what we want to help
And
them
we're
do.
on our way.
Yep. And here, well, triple. Okay, that's vague. It's not as vague as you think. Most of the clinics that we come around are about 15 to 20 patients per day.
If that, yeah.
And we literally can triple their volume up to 60 to 65. And at that point, essentially you're capped at a clinic and you're either looking for a new provider or you're looking for a new location.
Or you're just happy where you're at.
Or you're happy. We have a client now that's just happy as a clam.
Yeah.
Right. But what is identify that destination? Is it a new location? Is it a partnership? Do you want to sell? Right. Like that's a thing. Do you want private equity to step in and kick your marketing company?
That's
out?
still
Like,
burning us a little bit right now.
Do you want that to happen?
But I know they don't listen, so I don't care.
That's not a big deal. Like I mean this sincerely. I wish them the best, and I hope that partnership works out for them, and they're going to crush it. So, number 2, understand the capabilities of your aircraft clinic. Understand its capability. It has limitations.
It does. Oh man, that's a good one because I think a lot of people assume it can do a whole lot more, and and not just the physical location either. It's like everything inside. A great example is
we hit our aircraft limitation today on a call.
That's funny. You hit the ceiling.
That's right.
And you about ran out of gas. But no, so like in the clinic world, this is a problem that we face with our urgent cares. They'll stretch their clinic to things that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Like we talk about IV therapy, we talk about these different services, but your clinic may not be built for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it's just a shiny object that could make more money, so you just go for it.
Stop yelling at me, Michael.
So, right. But so anyways.
Literally living this dream right now.
Yeah. And so I do think like there's some limitations to your clinic, and you have to respect the limitations because when you start to go outside limitations, you're going to have issues. You might get hurt, or somebody gets hurt,
Right.
And it may take you backwards because we've seen that before where people go beyond their limits and then they get smacked, and it just becomes a domino effect, and they have to recover. It's so, I mean, in the aircraft world, like you go beyond your limits, you're going to crash and burn.
That's right. Yep. That is not something to be trifled with. Yep. But think about it this way. I say aircraft capabilities and limitations, but like, what are your clinic's strengths and limitations? Like, are you really good at doing these things? Like we have one clinic that's really good at immigration physicals.
Yes.
So don't do GLP medications or
yeah.
Isn't that what it's called? GLP?
The GLP ones?
Yeah, the GLP ones. Like that's not your area of strength. That's a limitation. You're not fit for that. Like that's not what you do.
Don't harm your cash cow.
Or get really good at it. Like learn it before you launch it.
I'm not even saying anything
Yelling
right
at
now.
myself today. Hey, listen, it's a thing. So what is your team
Building the plane as it's taking off.
know, right?
I've heard that phrase.
That's the thing. What is your team great at? There are people on your team that have a skill set, right? What are y'all really good at? You need to dig that out. And then what are the bottlenecks?
I tell you, talking about team, people on your team are really good at certain things. So we had a kickoff yesterday, and our contact was fantastic. She went above and beyond to get things done for us, and she was just very transparent, and just that attention to detail and willingness. Like in my head, I was thinking, you please don't ever get rid of her because you would lose so much.
Right.
Because we see that all the time. And I actually, I have a talk coming up at the UCA about the front desk and how important the skill set there is. Because it can make your plane tank or not.
That's right.
If it's not done right. So.
I'm excited for your talk. That's
Yeah.
Upgrade your instruments. It's expensive. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. It's expensive.
So I've learned in the airplane world. See, I'm a car guy. And when I see car part prices, they're like, exhaust, $1,500. I've learned
Just add a zero.
Just add a zero. And that's for a prop plane. When you get into jets, add 2 zeros.
It's insanity is what it is.
So to kind of give you guys some interesting information. So whenever you hear somebody say glass in an airplane, you think, oh, is that the glass for the cockpit? No. It's the glass that has all the instrument stuff inside of it that looks really pretty, and it keeps the plane alive, basically.
Instead of pressure gauges.
Yeah, so it keeps the pilot doing the right things, part of instrument rating, all that fun stuff.
Right.
I didn't know it cost more than a car.
Yeah, or the plane.
Or the plane.
Literally costs more than
I
the
will
plane.
say the most fascinating part with planes is that they don't lose value and compared to a car. If I put after new parts in a car, the value just keeps going down.
Yep.
You put new parts in a plane, the value actually goes up with the
It
value
does.
with the parts. So
There's a diminishing return around 180,000
for this plane, I guess.
in general.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is when you get up to about 200, it puts you into a different class of plane. And I'm not talking about class as far as like there's the $50,000 to $100,000 planes, which are like what we have, and then when you get up to like 200, it opens you up to 6-seaters and twin engines and stuff like that. Low end of them, but at least it opens you up to it. So, all right. So upgrade your instruments. So first of all, I'm thinking like your EMR.
Yes.
I'm thinking like your online schedulers.
I mean, the interview we did last week, he talked about all the AI and everything. They were very forward thinking about their systems.
Correct.
Because your systems are bottlenecks all day long.
Right.
And yeah, the EMR stuff's one thing. We have a client right now that has been married to an EMR for 20 years and it finally crashed. and he was like, "What do I do?" Like, you need to move on from this thing.
Time to escape.
They're not going to help you, and they have no interest in helping you. So that's a real thing, though, because you will, as we've said, you will fail to your systems. You'll rise and fall to them.
Yep. You don't rise to your ambitions; you fall to your systems that you have in place.
Oh yeah.
And you need to identify, like, is the tech stack that you're using helping you, or is it holding you back? And I'm just going to tell you now, it costs money to upgrade your instruments, but the return on that is what you're looking for.
Spend money to make money.
That's what you got to do. Train and trust your crew. Number 4, train and trust your crew. Invest in leadership development and staff engagement, and then build a culture. This is the key. Michael, just read it because I've tried so hard to do this here.
Build a culture that can operate independently of you.
All right. And what do we say that culture is?
What happens when you leave the room?
What happens when the boss leaves the room is what culture really is.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that looks like, what happens to your clinic if you go, you doctor, owner, whoever you are, go on vacation for a week? Can it, Hank, are you going to worry? Or are you going to have fun on your vacation? But no, it's true because, we talk about here how you're not necessarily in control of the culture. Like you're not boxing it in, but you're directing some of it. But ultimately, it's who's here that can make or break the culture.
That's right.
Because we've had bad apples in the past that cause all sorts of interesting problems.
I think everybody does if they've been in business long enough.
Yeah, and you're not, or would you say you're not doing business right if you haven't been sued at least once?
That's right. Yep, that's true. And that's just I'm not talking about lawsuits, but I'm just saying, like, you're in the people business no matter what you do.
Yeah, so business is people and process.
That's it. People and processes. That's so true. All right, number 5, file the flight plan and take off. Here's the thing. Map out the initiatives and the vision, the marketing, the operations, the patient experience. We literally did a webinar today where we gave out resources for you to map your marketing, your operations, your patient experience.
Yes.
Like we gave the resources. They're on our patientcaremarketingpros.com/resources. They're free. Like we give you the tools that you need. And then here's the real thing is just set the key performance indicators for your clinic and review them regularly. These, like we talk about glass cockpit or even the pressure gauges, like you have these instruments in front of you to measure, make sure everything's healthy, monitor the instruments, and then make adjustments in your aircraft as needed or in your clinic, as we like to say it. Guys, are you a visual clinic or an instrument clinic?
Right.
I think that's the best way to say it. Literally, visual clinic or an instrument clinic. Are you running off of just what you can see, or do you have systems in place that are guiding your clinic to where you want to go?
Yeah.
Both work. One's going to be radically more efficient than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to take anything. There's no judgment on this. There's nothing wrong with either one of these, but I think it's worth deciding on who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, man. That's what I got for you today.
I like it. I mean, it's always good to slide in the pilot stuff from time to time.
Yeah, I try not to do it too often.
I think it's fun.
It is.
But no, I mean, it makes sense. At the end of the day, it's where are you happy where you are, or do you realize there's more to it and you got to bite the bullet and go through the process?
And you may do what I did. I was very happy as a VFR pilot for about 2 years.
And that's fine. There's a season for that.
And exactly, it's exciting, it's new, you're figuring things out, you're having fun. And then you all of a sudden you're like, hey, that dude got to go on a trip to somewhere that I wanted to go, but I couldn't go because he has an instrument rating and could get there, but I didn't have a plan for that.
Yeah.
Well, and he's living probably a life, maybe even FOMO, if you will, fear of missing out. Right?
I do think there's some FOMO pieces to this for sure. Because I imagine the single location urgent cares, they probably look at the larger one. They're probably like, I don't really like those big 50 plus location urgent. They don't know what they're doing. We've heard the phrases before, or they don't know what customer service is, blah, blah, blah. And so they kind of push it off. But then what about these 5 to 10 location clinics where they're really serving a community?
Yeah.
We know quite a few urgent cares that are in that 5 to 10 range, and they cluster into an area and just take care of that city, basically.
Right.
We're here in Birmingham, so we have American Family Care as the headquarters, so you can't really escape them here. But and they're huge, of course.
No, we want to. They're fine.
Yeah. I mean, they do a great job, and we've talked to all of them at this point. Feels like
That's right.
But no, I thought this is good stuff. On a different note, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our non-urgent care listeners. So
we have a lot of listeners that aren't in the urgent care space, but are in the medical field of some type.
Yeah,
that's right.
We have had some feedback very recently of, hey, we're not in the urgent care space, but we like the content. We appreciate that, by the way.
Yep. Thank you.
And the cool part is, if you are a walk-in style medical, this is very applicable at the end of the day.
That's right.
We've learned working with other medical niches and industries and whatnot. If it's something that doesn't require that referral, it's just like, I need to call and make an appointment or walk right in. This podcast has been very good for that too. So, but anyway, I got some feedback recently. I just wanted to shout that out and say, hey, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sending feedback. I even told the person, I was like, we don't get a lot of feedback, so I really appreciate to hear this, because all we get are listens and views, but we never get like a comment or like a couple of comments.
Which is why we have this call to action right now.
Yeah.
Like, talk to us.
Yeah.
We want to hear what you have to say. Are you tired of my airplane stories and you want me to crash? Like, let me know that.
I want to know who the pilots are listening.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
That would be a fun little group.
We could have an urgent care clinic pilot mashup meeting and just hang out.
I mean, seriously, I was thinking like you could do like a Zoom call or Google Meet of all the pilot listeners and say, let's talk pilot, flying for just a minute.
I'm just telling you, like, I would do a fly-in and we'll turn it into a marketing session, and I'll just teach you how to do things so you can go implement it.
So it'd be instead of sun and fun, it'd be urgent and fun.
Urgent fun. That's it.
Urgent fun.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Decide if you're going to be a visual clinic or an instrument clinic. There's nothing wrong with either one, but knowing who you are and where you want to go is going to help. Smash that subscribe button. Follow us on our social medias. We'd love to hear back from you. Leave us a comment or give us a call. Or give us
call us. You'll get an AI call.
That's right. You'll get to talk to Bot the Marketer.
Yep.
Hit us up at hello@patientcaremarketingpros, and we will see you next week.
See you.
Have a good one.